This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria is winning the war on terror and his administration is eliminating Boko Haram and bandit leaders, quote, faster than ever, end quote. He made this assertion during his Independence Day speech and backed it up by referencing over 300 terrorist leaders who have been killed since the beginning of his administration. Now, the Defense Headquarters gives regular briefings of the activities of the armed forces in operations across the country. These briefings typically include frequent news of neutralized bandits. Despite these figures, can we say Nigeria is truly winning the war against terror? Joining me to discuss this is Jesse Atta, Risk and Intelligence Analyst at Beacon Consulting. Good morning and welcome to the conversation, Mr. Atta.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Let's start with your assessment of the president's assertion.
All right. Thank you very much. I believe the figures that were released were very interesting figures. And for starters, I think it's important that we attest to the progress that has been made in the security sector. Firstly, we can give credit to the fact that the president's appointment of service chiefs, and this is both military and paramilitary, were very, very strategic and very, very satisfactory to the security community. However, that was not just what was expected. What we expected was coordination. And to that regard, we've seen exceptional leadership and coordination among our security agencies. And I'll tell you why this is very, very important. Following the last service chief headed by Irabo, we saw a significant level of coordination amongst the military arm of our security institution, as the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army. And in terms of this coordination, it really helped to create a coordinated response to security threat concerns. And in this administration, we saw an extension of this coordination with the appointment of Nuhu Ribadu as the National Security Advisor. Though he was from the paramilitary aspect of things, right? He has played a very, very critical role in coordinating intelligence-driven security intervention, liaising with Nigerian military, the Nigerian intelligence agencies, and our paramilitary institutions. What we've seen so far is a more coordinated response to issues of hostage rescue and so on and so forth.
So let me ask you this. Yes?
Yeah, I was going to say, despite these successes, right, there are still areas of gaps, particularly where we see a continuation of security threat concerns across the country. And we see that when statements are made about the elimination of high-level targets, such as the 300 leaders of Boko Haram and bandits, it's very difficult for Nigerians to capture and understand the essence of such information, particularly where there are still aspects of insecurity in the country. And perhaps this is the area that we need to critically look into.
I mean, before we go there, one tangible statement the president made was, we're eliminating them faster than ever. And you've rightly pointed to how much of the successes we've recorded started from the previous administration. But if you look at this 1 year plus of President Tinubu, is it factual? Can we actually say that they're eliminating the terrorist leaders faster than previous administrations?
So when you say faster, I can't even attest to that. I know that for the longest we've had several areas of interdiction in various threat environments across the Northwest and the Northeast, and we've had a significant number of insurgents eliminated in one form or the other. However, in attesting to the leadership, I initially started with intelligence-driven operations. And when I speak about intelligence-driven operations, it is not just carrying our jets or sending our troops to a forested area to just go and attack insurgents. No, it is more of a very detailed process to elimination, where a target package is developed, identifying who are the HVTs in such groupings, and ensuring that they are being eliminated. The idea behind this so far has been to decimate groups, weaken their capability to actually act on on security gaps here and there, and all of that. And intelligence-driven operation plays a very, very critical role in ensuring that there is proper elimination of such groups, right? So, in attesting to how fast these groups are being eliminated, I can't really speak to that. I believe the military and the ONSA will be in a better position to speak to that. But, however, there have been continued efforts, or what I would describe as a continued and sustained effort from the last administration to this administration in eliminating insurgent groups disturbing most parts of the country.
So just quickly, right, if you could speak to us, you started saying earlier about what it would mean for Nigerians to feel the impact of 300 terrorist leaders being eliminated. And if you could connect what that means to what it would look like to actually be winning the war against terror. Speak to us about that.
Yeah, I think the major thing here is deterrence, right? You know how a young child sees a candle lit and is very, very curious as to regard why there's that shining light on the candle. And when he goes to that candle and tries to touch the flame, the child gets burned. And that is a deterrent. The fire has put up a deterrent already, telling the child that, hey, I might be shining and glittering, but I am very dangerous. Right? And I think the government has not really played a very significant role in this area, particularly in the part of deterring insurgent groups from acting. What we've seen so far is the continued capabilities of groups to carry out attacks, carry out raids on environments that we typically describe as ungoverned spaces. But when we say ungoverned spaces, these are same locations that still conduct elections from time to time. These are locations that have representatives at the National Assembly or the House of Representatives, right? So that means that these areas are not ungoverned spaces, and what we need there are law enforcement officials or operatives managing those particular environments. In terms of deterrence, again, we can speak to resilience. We do speak about resilience a lot in the Nigerian state, and sometimes resilience almost looks like we can accommodate failure and accommodate hardship a lot of times. In terms of resilience, government needs to do much in building resilience of Nigerians against insecurity, because what we see in our society today is a very, very laid-back approach to security. A lot of people are not actively conscious or do not feel carried along in terms of our national security pursuit. And maybe perhaps that is the approach that government needs to really, tackle it from, pushing for a national security approach. It goes beyond developing documents and having high-level webinars, but carrying people along and making citizens active participants in the pursuit of national security, national stability within the country. And this goes to information sharing, early response to escalated issues. These two components alone goes a very, very long way, building that resilience that people can trust government and say, yes, when I pick up my phone and I call an emergency number, I will expect to see law enforcement in my environment, taking care of the situation and defending my rights.
Mr. Atta, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation and for your expertise on the matter. Mr. Jesse Atta is risk and intelligence analyst with Beacon Consulting, joining me to discuss President Bola Tinubu's assertion. The president says his administration is eliminating Boko Haram and bandit leaders faster than ever, and that Nigeria is winning the war on terror. In a few moments, Now Breakfast continues with Brands Now, and we'll take a quick break. My name's Nabila Usman. This is Radio Now 95.3 FM.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.